Teaching your horse to lighten is the same thing as teaching your horse to take a shape. You apply pressure to the horse through your aids, and when the horse responds, there's a release of pressure, and the horse learns that there's a sweet spot where there is no pressure. That's how you get a horse to take a shape. And teaching your horse to lighten is nothing more than teaching your horse to take a shape. So the very first thing that I do in a ground exercise is get my horse moving forward. So in this case, if I have my horse in a trot, she's obviously going to have a great potential for forward. That's the first step. The second step is teaching my horse to take the shoulder out. So if I'm moving on the circle, and the circle size is 10 foot in diameter, I'm moving the horse to 12. I'm moving the horse to 15. And then I'm bringing the horse to me. So I'm on the circle in many varieties. Outside the circle, through the circle, and back to the circle. And that circle could be any size. I just have to be able to touch my horse. To me, which engages the inside hind. Away from me, which lightens the shoulder and also increases the inside hind to stretch and reach. There's no pressure on my horse right now. She has taken a shape. She's in collection. She's in self-carriage. So if I want to teach my horse to lighten, it's an easy thing for the horse to do once it understands what you want. So keeping the shoulder upright. Keeping the shoulder upright is a shape. For her to keep that shoulder upright, she has to lift herself. So I manage a sweet spot in her mind. That if she can just keep her shoulder upright, keep her hind engaged, she's carrying me very comfortably, and she is off her front end and light and balanced. Good girl. The next tier is to be able to get the horse lifted off the front end. So when I hear someone say, my horse is stumbling and tripping, I say that's because, in most cases, it's because you're allowing it. Not teaching the horse a better shape to carry you in. Instead of being completely on the forehand and long and low, lifting, putting more weight on the hips. So a very simple exercise that I could give you, if you have this struggle, from the long and low position, stop your horse, she automatically lifted and lightened her haunches. Think of it as I'm pulling her back on her haunches. So that's the lift. So after I've walked forward and stopped, I'm going to ask her back. And she's pretty well lifted in her. So my job is now to hold her in that position and walk forward. Keep her lifted. This is just a basic skill that you should have with your horse. Do I ride my horse like this all the time? No. This is just an exercise for a horse to learn a vocabulary. Forward, down. Thank you for stopping before I was ready. And a lift. And a lift. And a lift. And a lift. So stop. And back. See the horse is lifted, and now here's the test. Can I walk forward and keep my horse lifted? That's work skill. So once I'm able to master that, I can begin lifting the shoulders while I'm lifting the horse. Lifting the shoulders. Lifting. Lifting. So I'm touching the horse to engage the inside hind so that I continue my beautiful rhythm at the trot. My hand is just touching the mouth. When you touch the corners of your horse's mouth, that is your language. What do those touches mean? In this case, the touch means lift, lift, lift. The horse is doing all the work. And she will find the sweet spot when my aids are quiet. And she'll function in that frame that I've created for her to carry me a little better. Oop, oop. Lift. Most people don't realize that they could help their horse by lifting them into the canter. Lift. Lifting the shoulder. You want a nice canter departure. Your horse has to work in synchronicity with you lifting the shoulder. Very heavy on the forehand there in that stop. So I'm lightening her, lifting her, lightening her. Good girl. We'll do that one more time. See if we get a better stop. I was distracted. Lift. Lift. Better. Not perfect. I had a lot of different elements happening at the same time. Okay, so one last time in this direction. Out of forward down, lifting into the canter. Good. Good. Walk out of it. So here's lifting from the side. So I'm going back to that circle that I started with on the ground. And you can see she's really leaning in. There's no shake here. So, just like on the ground, I want you to imagine I'm going to move her over with my inside leg and make a rounder shape. So just like on the ground, I'm bringing that hip and bringing that shoulder out. Bringing that hip, bringing that shoulder out. Until I have self-carriage. Take the shoulder over. So if there was a line from her nose to her spine all the way through her tail, and she were on it with my inside leg, I think about pushing her midsection to the outside of that circle. And stand the shoulder upright. There it is. There it is. Self-carriage. And she's doing all the work. So that's a sweet spot that I can establish. So as I'm riding down the trail, I'm still in that sweet spot. Her and I can talk. And she can remain light because I've got the essence. I carry the essence of the circle with me. And that's teaching her to use her body differently. And that's suppling your horse. And that's lifting your horse and making them less stumbling. Now, I recently had a tumble with my horse crossing a snowbank from a road, and the snowbank had frozen and was quite frozen. So we tumbled into it. It was a 3-minute disaster. So I know how terrifying those spills are, and we ride our horses with grace, and we come back safe. So I hope this video on lifting helps you. These are simple exercises that you can take as far as you need to teach your horse to stand up under you, to lift itself, and become that riding horse. So, again, moving the shoulder out, bringing the Ghost Rider back to me, moving the shoulder out, bringing the horse back to me. So I'm doing it as a trot. And I have a horse in self-carriage. Not leaning on my aids, not leaning on the bridle, not leaning on my leg, but holding himself up. Lift, 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 lift. Good. Forward. Instantly in self-carriage. Lifting his shoulder. This is a pretty green horse, but in absolute lightness. I can go anywhere I want. He is not leaning on the aids. He is not stumbling. Light. Light. I'd like to thank Schleza Saddlery for my beautiful new saddle. And it's only had a handful of rides. It is the ultimate in comfort for me, and it is the ultimate in comfort for this boy. This is Ghost Rider, and he is a Morgan that I own, and he and I have had a wonderful time riding in the Catskill Mountains in this beautiful winter. He is a work in progress, and I chose him as well because he had a lot of the same difficulties that many of your horses do. And so right from the start, we'll see what he gives me. So I'm going to go right to my circle that I've been working everybody on. So I have a little feel of the left rein, my inside leg, has a little feel here. And I already have my lift. So I'm going to ask for a lightness and lift to the side. He understands. And I have complete lightness. Move. Lift, lighten. Lift, lighten. Lift, lighten. This horse, as I lighten him, he stops. So that makes you as a rider continually think about using your legs, and lighten him up under you. Walking those hind legs up under you and lifting your horse.